Hi, welcome back to my channel, Happy Girl Alaska. I'm your girl Terry, and today we are going to do a Q&A. So I wanted to devote a video to answering a lot of your questions that have been coming in, and I feel like in every video I get a set of questions, and I just figure it'd be nice to kind of consolidate them and answer them here. All right, here we go. Okay, so this question is from Mr. Shandog72, and his question is, are there any jobs? I want to say that yes, most definitely there are jobs in Anchorage, Alaska. I can't speak for any of the other cities, but Anchorage is our major city here. And you know, if you go out there and you check, let's say Indeed, they have job postings there, helpwanted.com, you'll find all types of job postings. So what I would say is just do your research, go online, use some of the online job boards, some of the ones that I just mentioned. I think Monster, and there's one more, Glassdoor. All of those sites should give you a pretty good idea of what type of jobs are available in Anchorage. But yes, there are jobs here. Oh wow, okay, so this next question is kind of along the same line of jobs. And so this question is from Dorisha Williams, and her question is, she says, hi, Happy Girl Alaska. I have a Bachelor of Science in Informatics and looking to move to Alaska from the Midwest. Any advice on how? What companies pay for relocation costs, etc.? So Dorisha, I've lived in Alaska my entire life. I've never relocated to a different state or a different city, so I'm not really sure how you would go about moving to Alaska. I am considering leaving Alaska once my daughter graduates from high school, and so I've been doing a little research on my own, but don't trust what I say because, like I said, I've never lived anywhere else. But I would say you definitely want to save your money. You'll want to try and get estimates on shipping cost. If you're, say for instance, if you're going to be shipping your vehicle, or if you're going to be shipping your furniture, things like that. I would say just try to get as many cost estimates as possible. What I will also do is look at Zillow or apartmentfinders.com to see what the housing market looks like, you know, as far as apartments, if you're looking to buy a home, that types of things. And I would definitely say to research the job market in the area that you're considering moving to. So say for instance Anchorage, I would use the online job boards that I listed in the previous question to see what jobs are available. Let's see, and then you can also go to, I would say, the stateofalaska.com website to see what the cost of living looks like. And I do want to provide or create a video to where I'm talking about cost of living and things like that, because cost of living is higher in Anchorage, Alaska. However, I believe that we make more than what folks make in the lower 48. So I think it kind of balances out a little bit, but you'll definitely want to do your research there. So I hope that was helpful. That's just some of the things that I've been doing in my research, you know, in my plans to move to somewhere warmer and somewhere hopefully closer to family. Okay, this next question, Scrub Tech Keith, and he says, hi, is there any apartments or extended stay options near the hospital? Thanks. Keith, yes, there are several apartment options, and depending on which hospital you're planning to try and get a job with, I would say look at the address of that hospital or medical facility, and then what you can do is use the zip code and type that into Trulia. I like using Trulia more than Zillow, but you can also use Zillow and filter for apartments, and that should bring you back results to see like what a one bedroom would cost, 2-bedroom, if you want to have a carport or a garage, those types of things. So, but to answer your question, yes, there are apartments and there are extended stay options near the hospitals, and we have more than one hospital. We have several. So okay, hopefully that answered your question. Okay, so this next question is from Ren, and Ren says, how is your skin so nice in that place? I moved from Florida to Chicago and my skin has taken a hit. What do you use on your skin to deal with this weather? So this question was asked back in the summer, and if you all have been tuning into my videos, you'll see that the summers here are really nice. I mean, we get blue skies, we get warm weather. Last year we hit 100 degrees, which was a record for us. And so I would say just being out in the sunlight helps for sure. I would say in the wintertime, winters can be pretty harsh on your skin. What I find is that I have to use body butters, you know, because they seem to be a lot more moisturizing. And then just finding a really good skincare line that works for you. What I found is that some of the people who move up to Alaska, they say that their skin goes through a lot of changes. I remember when my aunt moved up here many years ago, her skin broke out really severely. And when she moved back to Florida, her skin cleared up. So I think that because I've lived here my entire life, that maybe my skin has adjusted to the climate. But yeah, you would definitely want to make sure that you're taking care of your skin, especially in the wintertime. Like I said, it can be pretty dry here. In Alaska, we have a dry climate here, so you're not gonna get the humidity, which I love when I go down to the lower 48s. I think my skin just loves that, and my skin loves the sunlight too. So I would say as much as possible, just try to get outside and get some sunlight as well. Okay, so this next question is from Denise Williams, and her question is, are there hair shops that can do black hair in Alaska? Are there black barber shops? Yes, there are black hair salons and there are black barber shops. We don't have a ton of options here, but I would say we have at least 10 or more options. We have folks that do just natural hair. We have folks that do like your relaxers, that will do weaves and braids, that type of thing. And then we have some very talented barbers up here. I will try to get the names of those barbers, and even I really do want to make a video on the different salon owners and barbers here. So I'm gonna put a word out, and as soon as I hear back from those folks, then I'll go ahead and put a video out. One thing that I will say is it seems like and I don't even want to say people of color, but it seems like quite a few African Americans are, particularly African American women up here, are camera shy. So they're not as inclined to be on camera. But if nothing else, then the different salons that I've been to, I will give you their names. Just off the top of my head, I can name Ebony and Ivory. They've been around for a very long time, and they have some very talented hairstylists and barbers. I would say, I mean, I know of quite a few salons, but I don't want to recommend any that I wouldn't go to. Yeah, let me get back to you on that. I'll get back to you. Okay, so this question is from William Nyquist, and William says, you're a beautiful lady. Did the military bring you there? Yes, William, the military brought us here, and us being me, my siblings, and my mom and dad. My dad was in the Air Force. We moved here back in the early 80s, and so that's how we ended up in Alaska. Okay, so this next question is from Scrub Tech Keith, And his question is, hi, do you have an Instagram or email? I want to ask you a question. And I would say, if you would like to connect with me, reach me on Instagram at happygirl_AK. I'm a little hesitant to hand out my personal information, so like my email address or my Facebook account. I'm not quite comfortable doing that. But if you have a question for me, just feel free, reach out on Instagram and I'll try and respond as soon as possible. Or if you want to leave something in the comment section, feel free to do that. And then YouTube also has a community section that I was not aware of, where I guess people could go out and ask questions. So I'll start paying more attention to that tab and addressing your questions there. Okay, so this next question is from Lotus B. And this question is, so how do you feel when it's dark all day? And so I made a video about this. The video is entitled How to Beat the Winter Blues. And what I would say is when it's dark all day, and this is 3 months out of the year during the winter, it can be a little tough. It can be tough. I think what you can do in order to combat depression or I kind of get depressed a little bit in the winter time because it's so cold and dark. What I would say is just stay connected with friends and family. Get out of the house. You don't want to stay in the house too much. I will also say, when it is daylight outside, so say for instance during your lunch break, even though it's cold, try to get outside, get some fresh air, get a little bit of sunlight, and I find that that kind of energizes me and it helps give me a little bit of a mood boost. I also drink coffee. I think coffee is amazing in the wintertime because it's warm and it just tastes nice. I am a coffee lover, so that kind of helps me too with all the darkness. But yeah, I would just say stay active, stay social, and you should be okay. Okay, so this next question is from, I think it's Fifi Moise, and her question is, she says, sis, does Anchorage get the same amount of snow as Fairbanks during the winter season? And I think we get about the same amount of snow. Anchorage may get a little bit more. I do know that it's much colder in the wintertime in Fairbanks, but then it's also a lot hotter in Fairbanks in the summer. I mean, it's not out of the ordinary for them to hit 100 and above in the summertime. But in the wintertime, it's not uncommon for them to hit temperatures as low as -20 or lower than that. So this year, Anchorage did get hit with a pretty severe cold snap. I want to say the coldest it got was probably -15 from what I can remember. That's how different the temperatures vary between Anchorage and Fairbanks. Fairbanks is much colder in the winter, but much hotter in the summer. Okay, so this next question is from Greg H. And his question is, why are you leaving Alaska? And so I have gotten this question so many times, and I'll say this. I believe after you've lived somewhere for a long time, you kind of get curious about what life would be like outside of your hometown. Most of the people I went to high school with don't live in Alaska anymore. They've since relocated, and they've said that that's the best thing they could have done. Now, before I met my daughter's father, before we got married and I had my daughter, I had every intention of leaving Alaska. And so I was planning on heading over to Seattle, or I was going to move to Portland. And I've since changed my mind about those two places. I don't think I want to move there. But I'm ready for a new experience. I'm ready to set up somewhere else in the latter part of my life. I feel like I've done really well for myself here in Alaska, and I'm just really curious what life is like outside of Alaska, living somewhere else, reestablishing myself. And I think it would be nice to live closer to family. So I have family on the West Coast in Arizona, and then I also have family down south. So I think it would be interesting to just to have the ability to spend more time with them, you know. So yeah, those are the things that are influencing my decision to leave Alaska. And then also my daughter has no intention of staying up here once she graduates from high school. So I mean, if she's not here, sure, I have, you know, friends and friends that are like family to meet up here, but I don't know. I think at that point I'd really be more motivated to leave Alaska. But, you know, that remains to be seen. We never know. Something could happen to where it would reignite my desire to stay here in Alaska. So we'll see. Okay, so this next question is from Simply Jade. And Simply Jade asks, can you tell me if the earthquakes are really bad? What about earthquakes over 6.0? Is that common? So yeah, one thing about Alaska that I'm really not crazy about is that we do have earthquakes from time to time. Most of the times they are just small tremors, but the thing is, you know, with earthquakes you have no advance warning. You can't really prepare for it before it hits. It just kind of happens. And the last one we had was back in I want to say 2018 was pretty severe. I want to say it was about either 4.5 or 5.4. I would have to look it up. But yeah, that one hit pretty hard, did a lot of damage, and it was scary. I mean, we lost cell phone service, we lost electricity, everything that comes along with that. People were kind of in a panic, cleared out the grocery stores, you know, pretty similar to what we're going through right now. So I think that kind of put us in the mindset of disaster preparedness when that happened a couple years ago. So yeah, the earthquakes, we haven't had a 6.0 in a very long time, and I would have to double check unless the one that we had back in 2018 was at a 6-point level, but I don't think it was. Here, let me look that up. Oh, okay, so I take that back. So the earthquake we had November 30th, 2018 was actually a magnitude 7.1. Oh my gosh, so I totally underestimated the magnitude of that. So 7.1, that is so out of the norm. Now I will say we have earthquakes just about every day. So today we had an earthquake, here, let me look it up. So we had a magnitude 3.3 earthquake out in Big Lake. And Big Lake is probably, well, the earthquake was 5 miles from Big Lake. So we live a few miles away from Big Lake. Yeah, so 11 miles from Big Lake. And so, I mean, if you are concerned about earthquakes, like if that really freaks you out, you probably don't want to move to Alaska because it's bound to happen. It is bound to happen. But with it being that 6-point and above magnitude is definitely not the norm. Okay, so I think this is gonna be the last question for now, and I'll come back with another Q&A because I feel like I've been talking for a long time. So this question is from Michael Stewart, and his question is, can you tell me how the mosquitoes are in Anchorage? So I will say this, we don't have a ton of mosquitoes in Anchorage, but those mosquitoes are huge. The mosquitoes we have, and it's so funny because you'll see postcards and they'll have a picture of this big old mosquito and they'll label it Alaska state bird. I mean, those things are gigantic. You know how like in the South, when a mosquito lands on you and it bites you, you don't even know that you've been bit until like afterwards and it starts itching. Up here, you know when one of those things lands on you. I mean, they make their presence known, they bite you, it's disrespectful, you know. So the mosquito situation up here, while we don't have a lot, they are huge. So keep that in mind. You know, you just use bug spray or cover up or whatever, but yeah, the mosquito situation in Alaska is kind of crazy. Okay, well, so there you have it for now. That is my Q&A session. And I want to invite you, if you have any questions that you would like for me to address in the next video, please list them down in the comment section. I'll be sure to get to those questions as soon as possible, probably within the next day or so. During this time of quarantine, what I'm looking to do is maybe put out more chit chat videos. I would say at least 3 times a week. Why not, you know? So in any case, I hope you all are doing well, staying healthy, supporting each other. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.